All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the SimplyPips um, Other Things About Trading series. Usually we discuss strategies and how to basically predict the market and make money out of the market. However, um, that's not everything about trading. Trading comes with a lot of mental pressure. It comes with some psychological things we need to put in place. So we decided that we'll start with this live broadcast and gradually turn it into a podcast. I will be discussing from my experience and, of course, inviting other experienced persons within us and outside the SimplyPips family to discuss other things around trading, things that could help us become better traders, things that could help us become better humans as it relates to the market. And we'll be starting today discussing with Prof. Those of us in the SimplyPips family already know Prof. His real name is actually Victor. We call him Prof. And he's one of the profitable traders we have with us, proven track record of months upon months of stripping pips out of the market. Obviously, if you've been in this market for a while, you would know, like we usually say, that you should respect any trader that can grow an account by 1% every month, just 1% every month. You should respect such a trader because there are actually very, very few amongst the many trying to become wealthy or make a living from this market. Today, we'll be discussing with Prof. And the topic for our discussion today are things nobody told me about Forex trading. Things nobody told me about Forex trading. I'll be handing over to Prof. I want you to please introduce yourself briefly without actually giving so many details about yourself. We're actually on air. And then would you mind discussing things nobody told you about Forex that you came to know as you progressed into this journey? Perhaps you want to tell us how you came about Forex trading and blah, blah, blah before going into that. So over to you, Prof. You're welcome.
All right, Bishop, thank you so much for the opportunity. So good evening to everyone who is listening. Trading is a wonderful journey. So by means of introduction, my name is Victor. I've been trading professionally for about 4 years now. Yes, so for about 4 years now. I'm an engineer by training, never practiced though. So I think that's just the basic introduction. I've come to realize that it seems those of us from the physical sciences somehow tend to do better in the markets. So from the SimplyPips, just even the fostering classes. For those of you who don't know, Bishop is also an engineer by training. Just realize so many of those of us that are doing so well are engineers by training. So perhaps the whole logical aspect of our training and all that just helps when it comes to the discipline that is required in the marketplace. So to go straight to the point, this evening we are discussing things nobody told me about trading. Wow. See, this topic is one that we can go on and on, but I'll just try to focus on a few points which I believe are not often talked about in the broader community. Now, first came about trading before I entered school. That was the first time I heard about Forex from, I think, Success Digest then. So just before I got into school, I got so engrossed with the whole entrepreneurship journey, I tried my hands. I was trying to see, I already made up my mind that, there was a whole world out there beyond the shores of Nigeria that someone could service without needing to, travel out and all that. And I believe that the internet was always going to be a means of reaching far more people than you ever reach, maybe organizing seminars and all that. So I got so engrossed with Success Digest, and they were the leading people when it came to entrepreneurship, especially when it came to online stuff, e-stuff. So copy marketing, copywriting, affiliate marketing, and all that. That was the whole treat. So in one of the editions of Success Digest, then I just saw that there was just this thing about Forex trading, and we were just discussing it. And at that time, I was just focused on getting into the university. So it just somehow it just I don't say this would be something good to learn, but I didn't really take it serious. So sometime around I think my second year or third year, after reading a book by Napoleon Hill, um, Think and Grow Rich, where he talked about some things around compound interest, I began to research the topic further. So I just got to understand this issue that, you see, with compound interest, one can do the sky is virtually the starting point for anyone that becoming wealthy was not complex. It was just an issue of discipline, compounding, discipline to just get something and keep doing the same thing over and over again. Now, the issue for me then was going to be the vehicle to drive that dream, because all I had in mind then was that, okay, if someone could do about 10%, yeah, at that time I was still greedy. So if you could do about 10% every month, just compound it, before you knew what was happening in like 10 years, you'd have just taken like 100K to 1 billion and all that. And the question that I had was, there was nothing to drive it. I had gone around to banks. Fortunately, I had a dad who had just left the banking industry at that time. So I knew a little bit about when it comes to interest rates, fixed deposit, treasury bills, and all those. And I knew all those things we are not giving. The question was, what was going to drive this? So for a very long time after I came out from school, I joined my dad's firm working business consultancy, tax, asset management, getting loans from BOI and all those things for clients and all the rest. And a youth group I was part of this Christian interdenominational youth group. So we were having a seminar. And funny enough, around that time too, Mr. Raji just was about getting out of the banking industry as well. So he was one of the speakers at that event, and he just mentioned in the passing that they have so many opportunities online, blah blah blah, and as of then, I had started coming across, Forex again. I was just looking at it, okay, just really read something today, leave it alone, just go read, leave it. Perhaps it's time to take this thing serious. So, but the way we are as young people, after a while, I was just like, well, this Forex thing. So now this is where I'm going to go a little bit. I'm going to go a bit spiritual. So yeah, I'm a deeply spiritual person. So with things like that, I just remember I was praying one day and just take this thing seriously, and I just felt I just ignored it for a while. But somehow, I just started all over again. So then I used to travel almost every day. I was staying in Ottawa, and I had to go. I was virtually the person going to do a whole lot of the filings. I needed to be at a marina like 2 times every week. So I would go to Marina, that's where you had all the headquarters of all the banks and all those things. So I needed to go and file some things. Sometimes we're applying for a loan. And when we applied at the branches and all those things, they were always giving us trouble. So we decided, okay, let's just be taking it straight to the head office. And or you go to CAC, sometimes go to FRS. I was always on the move, I was handling my dad's records and stuff. So I was always on the road, either going to Marina, going to one place in Lagos, or going to Abeokuta, just moving all over the place. So for a while, I would be on transit, the whole Lagos hold up and everything. I would just, start studying. So I was going through BTMM. I'm probably one of the few people who went through baby pips like systematically. So, but that was my initial training. So when I was done, I just realized that, okay, from everything I've read, baby pips made so many things sound easy, but then I tried to implement it, I just discovered, this thing wasn't really working. So then I went to YouTube, started reading so many things, started listening to videos. I was trading one strategy every 2 days. Thankfully, I never had the liver to put any live money, right? To put my real money there. There was demo account for that. So I felt, why should I risk my own money where there is demo to practice with? So I was practicing demo. I was changing strategy every 2 days. In fact, sometimes I would see, oh, if you know the number of strategies that I traded in this world, just trying so many things. And at one of such moments, I just stumbled on one video from Adam Koo, who became, who still is one of my main trainers and coaches when it comes to trading and investing in general. So that video was trading like a casino, how to trade like a casino. And he shared some ideas in the video about how the casino doesn't care whether it wins or loses, one or two, who comes into the casino to make money and all that stacked the odds in such a way that in the long term, it doesn't matter what the results are short term. In the long term, they were going to make money. You are going to take money off everyone who was coming into the casino. So some people might make some profits, some people make some losses, but in the long term, the house was always profitable. So he was talking about how to, arrange your trading. And I had not heard about that before. So that became a new journey for me. So I started, studying his materials and all that. And I just told myself, I said, okay, we need to go for a proper trader. I felt this guy knew what he was talking about. And one thing about Adam Koo, unlike what you see everywhere, Adam Koo is down to it. He will show you his account. He will show you how the account has been growing, like live on stuff. So it wasn't with IML, because I'd done a bit of affiliate marketing and multi-level marketing myself in time past. So IML for me, I just felt it's a marketing ploy. So I just the main money here will be coming from marketing. So I just felt these guys might not really have my best interest at heart, because basically they were after getting me to sign up so that they get the affiliate fee. So that was simply why I did not go to IML. So at that time, Adam School's courses were expensive, still very expensive. But he was doing a promo then, and the beginning course, the basic course he was running there was going for about $300. And I really did not have money anywhere. Like all the money I had, I just got a new device and all that and all that. So it was very, very small. So I told myself, okay, how do we do this? And thankfully, I knew how to design websites. So I decided, okay, I was working in the day, in the night, I'll be designing websites, I'll be building websites, people at almost half what other people were charging. But I did a whole lot of odd jobs. Yeah. So I know how to paint. So I painted a house. Help someone to build a poetry pen. Like I did so many things because I knew I had it in mind. Okay, let's do this. Let's just put in this effort. That way, if it fails, well, all right. But one thing I just made up my mind is, and I had read so many books then that had discouraged, borrowing to start a business. So I told myself, I'm not going to borrow money from anyone to start. So that if I lose it, well, I just tell myself, guy, just did it again. Because while I was in school, I had done it all over like that before, where I raised so much money from so many things I was doing, up to like 200K as a student, and built the whole thing in about 9 months on businesses, failed businesses. So I just told myself, that's the worst that will happen. All our labor will just be in waste, but I wasn't going to borrow to start. So I won't put myself under unnecessary pressure. Perhaps because of my past experiences in business, I realized that the fad around Forex was too good to be true. So everyone says, do that, no, this is easy. And, been a copywriter before. I know how we market some of those things, how, without lying, you can just use words to persuade people and, all those things, how to play on the emotions of people and all that, how to close sales by Zigziglar. We have read so many books on sales and everything. Tracy, you mentioned it. So I could pick it up that this is what these guys are doing. So I knew that most of the fad were just not it. You aren't just going to come. Now, my experience in demo trading, you come in myself, I said I was going to give myself 3 years. 3 years. So if you are a person that's gone into business, all those things, they'll tell you that 3 years is the time when you give any business. So you are not expected to be profitable as a business person until after like 3 years. So I told myself from beginning, I was going to give myself 3 years. But in spite of all of this, when nobody prepared me for what trading was going to do to my life. Trading, nobody told me that trading will keep you up at night. Like at some point, I was still in my parents' place. So I remember there was a night when we were at the shop and one of our other friends, Asian hours, which is basically midnight Nigerian time. So we wake up around 12:01 and we're on our chats. And I needed to be on my way to Marina by 6 a.m., 5 a.m. the following morning. So like it was, and my body felt the toll. My body felt the toll. I wasn't properly sleeping. Sometimes my mom would just, she'd just be going around because she usually used to wake up around that middle of the night to pray. And then she comes out and 2 a.m., she's hearing whispers or voices coming from her room. You're still awake. When do you sleep? So that's one of the things nobody told me about trading, that it was going to cost you sleep. It was going to take a toll on your body, like at that initial time. One of the things nobody told me starting out was the fact that psychology was the number one factor that would determine success. So you get in there and the market can so destroy your mentality that no matter the strategy, no matter your risk management or money management models, nothing just works. And you just find yourself getting depressed and all those things. When I first told my dad I was getting into trading, as a former banker and all those things, he was familiar with what some of the things I was talking about. But he told me later that one of the main fears he had was that people who did what I do don't live long, because that it is very, very stressful on the mind and on the body because of the pressure, especially when you want to do this full time. I do this full time now, like full time. So, but then when I decided to go full time, that's another thing, but that's story on its own. When I decided to go full time later, I had been consistent for about 1 year. So I felt, okay, it was time to move this thing to the permanent site. Let's begin to do this thing full time. And I told my dad, then I said, I'm resigning from the company. I want to focus on this full time. And he looked at me and he has a way of, when he doesn't really agree with something, he just said, which means, okay, I've shahid. So, and I'm sure he was like, don't worry, all this one you're doing, you still come back. So, and I made up my mind that I will die here. So no matter what happens, I die here. This was going to be it. So we started, and man, if you don't have at least about 6 months to 1 year of expenses stored up or saved up, don't even consider going full-time trading. The pressure will be incredible. It will be crazy, like crazy. You are, because nobody told me that you could be profitable 15% in 1 month, and the next month you are down 10%, you are down 5%. Adam Koo did a good job in teaching us risk management, but nobody really gave us taking into consideration things like risk of ruin, maximum drawdown, what it would take you to come back from drawdowns, and all those things. So many things. And, these were all things that one was not learning on the job. So I remember the very first time we had to handle, at some point, friends started coming to me and said, oh, Victor, we know you used to trade. Can you manage an account for us? Can you trade for us? This. And I remember the first person to do that was my younger sister. She came to me and said, I have some amount of money. I don't want it to just be in my hand. It's going to be wasting. Can you put in your trading? Just give me something. And I was like, okay. So I was like, what was the average returns like? And I was like, I should be able to do like 5-7% every month because that's what I've been doing the last 3 months. And I just felt, okay, I've arrived. And from now on, I'm going to be rich. Like from there on, it's just going to be for 7% every month, grow to 10%, begin to expand, increase your risk tolerance like 3% per trade and all those things. And nobody told us about market cycles. So nobody told me that December is a whole lot different from every other month and all that. And that December was hell, like hell. I closed December, everybody was enjoying their Christmas and their New Year. I was in hell, I was in torment. Luckily for me, I tell myself, I've never blown any account that wasn't an account for blowing. You have all these small accounts that you used to play and stuff. So I'm only one of those such I've blown a $100 account then. So I had to struggle with that. I had to contend with so many. Now everybody wakes up in the morning and goes to work, and you sit down at your desk in your house. Nobody sees you going anywhere, and it was something I had to contend with because people don't really understand that, especially in this part of the world. People don't really understand the whole COVID thing that working from home began to be a thing. So people didn't understand that, and it's something you're going to struggle with, especially when you go full time. Especially if you're a young person, you are going to struggle with that so much. You are going to be struggling. Trading is a very lonely place. It's a very lonely place to be. You are going to be with your system alone, hours upon hours, days upon days. You are making losses, and that's what makes you worse on the psychology. So nobody told us then that, see, you needed to have like a team. You need to have like a team that you work with, someone you are accountable to, someone you can share the goods and the bad and all that with.
And the ugly.
And the ugly with. So it was important. I remember, I don't know how many calls between me and Bishop, if they should measure how many hours we spent talking Forex, like on our own, like just sharing experiences, sharing ideas and stuff. It's going to be running into weeks and months. Like you just combine all the hours together, it's going to be running 2 months. Like we'll just be discussing so many things. So nobody told us that. Nobody told us that, see, your small capital is nothing. Like it is nothing. Realistically, what they used to tell us then is like, I make 20%. The truth is that a realistic expectation from the Forex market every month is about 5 to 7%. That is a realistic expectation on what you're making. And if you have even a $1,000 account, then when even exchange rate was good, $1,000 account, you're looking about 300K. And that would be like something people feel comfortable starting with. If you had that and you were doing like 5% a month, 5% on 300K was just like 15K. It wasn't anything you could live off. So nobody told us that you needed a whole lot of capital to get involved with trading. Nobody told me that you should make allowances. Like, so when you have windfalls, so certain months you're going to have windfalls. You're going to make like 15%, you're going to do like 20% some months. It will be a very terrible mistake to spend all that expecting that the next month will be the same, because the next month you could just end up with like minus 3%. You end up with like minus 5%. So you needed to.
That storyline is still in the air. For instance, what you see on YouTube is somebody flipping $200 into 10,000. what you see, even with prop firms, is interviews of people who made 90,000, 60,000. But the normal thing is for people to make 5,000, 10,000. That's the normal thing.
That is the
Those ones who
normal.
get
That is the
interviewed.
normal.
The ones that will get
Yes, and
interviewed
it
are the
gets
ones
frustrating.
who, yeah.
And you begin to feel like you're not meeting up with something. Hello, Bishop.
Yeah, please go ahead. Over to you.
Okay. So it's that frustration sets in when you see. So at a point, I had to tell myself, I don't follow on Instagram. I virtually I didn't delete my Instagram account, but I just refused to go to Instagram again. Like, so you don't go there and be seeing rubbish that will not start affecting your whole mental state and all that. So you go there, you see all these people that can snap by vehicles and all that. We saw some stories recently where people, some of all those guys who were doing that, some that blew a $3 million account. We saw some of them that blew a $5 million account and all that. So these are, if you want to stay long in this business, you have to be realistic. You have to be disciplined. You have to be, let's say, risk averse. People who just believe that entrepreneurs, you're a trader, you should, yes, we accept the risk, but you don't take unnecessary risk. So you must build in stopgap measures for yourself that will help you in the long run. The next thing nobody taught us was how to, beyond trading, when you're making money from trading, you need to be able to plan your finances in such a way that even when you have a poor run, so there will be some times where, for whatsoever reason, you just have a poor run of form for a couple of months, that you have enough saved up to cover up for such period so that you don't come under pressure. Because one of the terrible things that will happen in trading is once you are trading under pressure, you will do rubbish. You just do so many things that are wrong. Then nobody told us that, nobody told me then that there is a whole lot of difference between handling a 1K account and handling, say, 50K account, a 100K account. I remember the first time I and Bishop, we started trading a 100K account. It was crazy. It was crazy. So the very first time when we started trading a 100K account, a lot size, or yes, you take a 1% risk. So we are using 1%. We normally risk 1% per trade. So you risk 1% per trade. What it will be on a 1K account? So 1K account, 1% risk is $10. All right. So, but when you are doing that on a 100K account, 1%, we see a drawdown there of 0.2%, and because you're wondering that, like, we are all things we had to really build our minds to the whole fostering into the whole fostering program that we now organize for mentees, telling them to down to the 50K account and all those things to familiarize their minds with that. Another thing nobody really mentioned was the fact that even after years, there will be some times when some things will just happen up to now. Some things will just happen, and you ask yourself, did I pick the wrong profession? Like, this thing, even though you have become consistently profitable, you still ask yourself sometimes that, am I sure this is really it? So, but I think one of the things that has helped me with that is creating a long-term plan. So I tell people now that all I'm after every month is average of 70% a year. So that is just basically what I want to do. I want to do, and then you plan your finances, well, you are fine. So 100K becomes a billion in about 15 years, doing 70% a year. All right, that is, we are not touching it. So, which is where things like the prop firm comes in. So if you are not trading, at the moment I trade for 2 prop firms. Now, the good thing of trading for proprietary firms is that, one, you have access to their large capital. So you're able to trade that large capital without having the burden of bearing losses. So you're not worried about trading your money, and then you can move some of the profits that are generated there into growing your own personal account and building up other things. Nobody taught me about diversification, moving funds from just trading into other businesses. So that's also one thing that nobody teaches you about. Nobody teaches you that, okay, you're making profits in Forex. Forex is something very liquid. What else can you move part of the profit from there into that are long-lasting businesses? All right, that you can, even if the market starts doing how, you don't lose everything just because you're a trader or whatever. So these were all things that someone had to learn along the line. Bishop, I think I've spoken for too long.
Wow. Thanks a lot. I believe we're going to have a part 2 of this, what nobody told us about Forex. The next time might just be me being interviewed. What nobody told us about Forex is a lot. And if you've not joined the fostering program, you should make an attempt to join. We don't promise that once you join the fostering program, then you go crush the market. But you get to hear things that nobody has told you before. What you see on YouTube and Instagram, I'm not saying they are not true, but they are largely untrue. And you could actually you could make a living out of trading, and you could actually get rich quicker in trading than some normal 9 to 5 job. They call it 9 to 5 in the West. Is it actually 9 to 5 in Nigeria? In Nigeria, it is like 5 a.m.
In
to
Nigeria,
11
it's
p.m.
like 5
job. You know that kind
a.m.
of job.
to 11.
I was on a back test session with someone yesterday night. It was an impromptu one, so we were there, and at about 11 p.m., his wife hadn't returned from. She went to Lekki area and hadn't returned home on the mainland, and she left home at about 5 a.m. to go to that area. So yes, in Nigeria, it's not 9 to 5. It's like only God knows when. Yeah, so you could actually become, wealthier trading than some of those jobs. But like we usually tell people in the fostering program, don't throw out your present day job to go full time into trading until certain things click for you. Nobody told us that we could be in the same set. You could have 5 people trading together, and it will come true for each of them at separate times. Nobody told us that one cap doesn't fit all, that no strategy suits everybody. Nobody told us that our temperament has something to do with trading. Nobody told us that the equity we had initially might not be enough, which is why we push for prop firm. Prof mentioned 70% a year. If you want to do 70% a year divided by 12, that puts you at about 5.8% per month. Now, if you trade for a proprietary firm and you trade a balance of, let's say, 100,000, and you're an average Nigerian, 70% a year will mean that you would have made $70,000. If it's a firm like FTM, where you get to be paid 70% of this, that sums up like $49,000. If you multiply this by a present exchange rate of 500, that sums up like 24,500,000. And if you divide this by 12, that gives you an average of about 2 million per month. Now, he mentioned you don't have to spend all of this, but for you to earn 2 million per month, you are no longer an average staff. You have to be a top management staff in several organizations, in a few organizations, I beg your pardon, in Nigeria, banking and some other organizations, to be able to earn this. Business people, well, maybe it's possible. And if you're able to do this for a $200,000 account, then you could earn on an average 4 million per month if you make 5.8. Now, remember, it's not going to happen like that every month. There are some months I do as low as 3%, and some months I go as high as 32%. Months where I have a lot of good scalping trades, I could go as high as 30-40%. But on an average, is somewhere within 7 and 10 and like that, So nobody told us that when I started learning, it was more or less like everybody was talking about, hey, I just made $1,000. Hey, they don't come back to tell you that they blew their account. I'll end up by telling us the last guy that was interviewed by FTMO, who presently made a profit of $90,000. He made mention in the interview when he started trading. He said he invested $200 and overnight he had $4,000, and by the next day he had $0. He basically lost everything. You could imagine that in his Instagram or Facebook or whatever page, he might have announced the growing of 200 to 4,000, but will keep mute about the disappearance of such funds. So that's it in the Forex world. We hope to keep this going and interview even some of our mentees in the fostering program and other traders. We have Dr. Eba, we have Darren Flynn, and many other people might bring on, so you could have a full glimpse of what trading actually is, and how lonely it could become if everybody has gone out and you're alone in the system, and even at that, you still aren't making profit. I bought a particular exercise equipment so I could be, exercising. I think the last time I went on that equipment was over a month now. It's just there rotting away. I just couldn't get the discipline to keep fit. And of course, that will be a topic for another day. I want to appreciate every one of us here for coming online. We want to keep it as brief as possible. We should continue next Saturday if all things work out well. I want us to suggest topics. If you're on topics you want us to discuss, other things apart from trading, we won't be discussing so much about strategy. Maybe we might consider that later, but for now, let's discuss other things that are not strategy related. We'll be discussing them next time. So, Prof, thanks for honoring this invitation and kickstarting this series. Hopefully, we will get better as it moves on. I want to appreciate everyone. I can see a lot of people here: Martins, Chinyere, Adian, Eureka. Doesn't miss anything we do here. Thanks for coming online. Please drop your questions. Drop your questions. I can see Pretty Lady too. Don't worry, we'll all make it. Let's keep the fire burning. And you know how much we give. We give so much of our time in the fostering program. Just ensure you don't give up. And hopefully we'll all be at the top very, very soon. Thanks all for coming. We'll be ending it right here. We'll see you on the other side on